This is chapters 56 through 60 of Lock the Doors. 56. Evie Wells goes to the University of Chester now. I know because her Instagram is full of pictures from freshman week and all the weeks that followed. She has a lot of friends with the same smile for everyone. It's different from the one at the old parties with Nia and Amy in the background. I draft my message for hours and delete a few false starts before finally clicking send. Hi, my name is Tom Kavanaugh. I know a friend of yours, Amy Pierce. Could I ask you a few questions? She replies almost instantly. What do you want to know? It's not the reply I expected, but it's better than being ignored. I want to know why Evie lied about Amy's dad, and if there was anything suspicious about her parents or her brother. She was a closer friend than Nia was. At least that's what Amy suggested. We were best friends, she'd said, and then one day, she hated me. I heard a story about her dad. What can you tell me about that? I sound like I'm interrogating her, but it's too late now. When the reply comes, my nerves spike. It says, call me, followed by a phone number. If there was nothing to say, Evie would ignore me, and that scares me more than dialing the number because whatever information she has, she wants to say it out loud. I stare at my phone for so long it goes blurry. Then I blink until the world snaps back, take a deep breath, and call. Hello? Evie? Yeah, is this Tom? It is. Cool. I have to say your message caught me by surprise. So did your reply, I say, and she laughs. She doesn't sound like I imagined she would. I thought Evie's words would have sharp edges, but she seems genuinely happy to talk. So how do you know Amy? She asks. She goes to my school, I reply, and then, because I want to say everything. And I moved into her old house and can see her new one from my bedroom. Evie laughs, then stops when she realizes I'm serious. Oh, that's a bit creepy. I know how it sounds, but it's not like that. I met her parents. Her dad seems protective, scary, strange. What I really want is Evie to finish the sentence for me, but it turns out she can't. I never met him, she says. So the rumor? The rumor is bullshit. And how did you even hear about it? Amy told me. Evie doesn't reply for a long time, and when she finally does, she sounds like she's carefully selecting every word. Well, I guess I know who started it then. Why would Amy set up her own dad, I ask. Evie breathes down the phone, then says, Amy did a lot of strange things. But you were friends. Not really. She was the year below me. I only knew her because of my sister Pippa. How did they know each other? Amy mentored her. They did this thing at St. Gregory's where they pair an older kid with a first year. My sister got Amy. They were supposed to meet once a week to discuss any problems Pippa might have had. But Amy wouldn't leave her alone. My sister didn't mind. She thought it was great hanging out with an upperclassman. But we thought it was weird. Just when I think I'm starting to get it, I realize Amy has told more lies. She said this was her room when it was Will's. She said Evie was her best friend when they hardly spoke. She said Evie started the rumor about her dad. I don't understand anything, I say as much to myself as to Evie. What do you mean? The rumor was that you got with Amy's dad. I know. But there's no reference to it online. Wouldn't a story like that be everywhere? You've been stalking me, Evie says. It's not a question and she doesn't sound angry. Look, all I know is my dad came to me raging because someone told him I was doing Amy's dad. It took me ages to convince him it was bullshit. He said he'd already taken care of it and I didn't ask what he meant because I was scared of the answer. No one outside my house ever talked about it. It wasn't a rumor. I shot it down before it could fly. And then you started asking and I thought it was happening again. But if Amy is the one talking about it, either she started it or she knows who did. Or she still believes it. 57. Evie told me to call back if I had any more questions. She sounds like someone I could be friends with. The exact opposite of the girl Amy made her out to be. I do have more questions, but Evie can't answer them. I think only Amy can. When Amy told me about her dad, she looked genuinely heartbroken. She believed what she was saying. I cling to that because the alternative is too scary to accept. What would she gain from lying? I didn't know her father. I still don't. He's just an angry face and an awkward presence. She opened up to me and I promised to be there, unless that did the trick. Did Amy make up a horror story so I'd feel sorry for her? Did she listen to me talk about the Head Start line and invent her own tragedy? Evie said Amy did a lot of strange things, and knowing her, I can believe that. Some people get labels they can't shake, and everything they do is the wrong side of right. There are kids like that at school. At St. Gregory's, Amy was the girl who hung out with the 7th graders. She haunted other people's pictures. She changed enough for Nia to forget about her, and yet she's not hiding now. She's taken center stage in my life, and I can't shift the spotlight. When I close my eyes, I think of her, and when I open them again, she's there. What happened to turn her from the almost invisible girl Evie knew to the one who danced at the costume party and kissed me in the park? Amy's echoes are in the walls. I couldn't escape her if I wanted to, but I need to figure out why her brother carved stick figures into the wardrobe and wrote, "Help me." I've seen Amy's family close up. I felt the weird energy when they're all in the same place, and I saw her face when she caught me leaving her brother's room. She knew what I saw, and she was too scared to say it. Her dad may not have done anything with Evie, but there was a reason for that rumor. "Hey," Nia says from behind me. "You coming?" She's been nicer to me since we talked about Amy. She doesn't look at me like a bad smell, and Mom and Jay are starting to notice. It's family film night with Aaron, and hiding in my room isn't an option. He hunts absentees down and whines until we join him. "Here he is," Jay says, and I sit on the sofa and ask whose turn it is. "It's mine," Nia replies, "and I chose." Aaron starts chanting, "Moana, Moana, Moana," and his sister grins and says, "No way, dude. I want to watch something romantic." "Gross," Aaron says, and we all laugh because Nia is only messing with him. She always chooses something he'll enjoy, and today is no exception. "How about Toy Story?" "Which one?" Jay asks. "All of them," yells Erin. Mom watches this with a massive smile on her face. She always wanted a family, and I'm glad she finally has one. She doesn't join in with Nia and Erin's silliness, but she loves it. What's ordinary for one person is magical for another. It's hard to feel happy when my head is such a mess, so I get a drink from the kitchen, then try to sneak back upstairs as the movie starts. Erin won't move until it's over now, but Jay says, "Tom, you're missing it." He points at my spot on the sofa, then snuggles into Mom. We only end up watching the first film, but no one complains. Aaron has a 90-minute attention span, and Jay says he doesn't want to waste all their time together sitting in silence. He's a good dad. He's a good stepdad, too, for what it's worth, and he's a good husband. I'm not sure where my real dad is now. I don't know if Mom and I were a rehearsal for a life he now prefers. Maybe he got it right the second time around, or perhaps, like us, it was further down the list. Wherever he is and whatever he's doing, I hope he's not lonely. We have takeout and talk way past Aaron's bedtime, and tonight feels different. Nia is including me, and Mom notices because a few times she tilts her head and grins. She doesn't know we connected over a girl made of secrets. It's not until we say goodnight that I realize I haven't watched Amy's house for hours. Mom must have drawn my curtains, and I could pull them back just for a minute, but instead I get into bed, close my eyes, and whisper, "Clap." 58. "Amy's keeping her distance," Zach says. I follow his stare across the courtyard, see her disappear into the history block, and say, "We kissed." "Seriously? When?" It already feels like a week ago, that day when my anxiety evaporated and I barely thought of anything except us. The Saturday we went out, she took me to see the squirrels. "Is that a euphemism?" Zach asks. Then, when I don't answer, "Why didn't you tell me before?" "Because I found the carvings, and I didn't know what to think. Then she invited me to hers for dinner." "On the second date?" "It wasn't a date. It was like a weird dream." "What do you mean?" "It was her brother who carved those stick figures." It feels like the more people I tell, the more things will make sense. This isn't my secret to keep. If Amy's not being honest with me, I'll talk to people who are. "I have a theory," Zach says. "What if you're so afraid of actually falling for this girl that you're making it up?" "No, but how do you know her brother did that?" "I saw the same drawings in his room. Trust me, mate, something's not right. If you'd been there, you would understand. It felt like everyone was holding their tongue. I know I'm paranoid, but sometimes paranoia is being first to the truth." Zach looks at me like he's not so sure. "So what did the brother say?" "Nothing. I didn't really speak to him. I know I should, but the problem is the house. I can't just walk up to the front door and hope Will answers. The buzzer and the gate mean no one will sneak up on the Pierces. I had my chance to look closer and I took it. But what's the use of knowing who made those carvings if I don't know why? Jane drives Will to and from school. The car doors only open once the gate has clunked shut. He's never on my side of the spike, so I can't talk to him. Would he even answer if I did? He hardly said a word that night, but maybe I was asking the wrong questions. If he knows I've seen his drawings and is pleased, that could change everything. If he really wants help, or the carvings are some kind of warning, perhaps it would be enough to tell him what I found. Amy has barely spoken to me since I left. She knows what I found. Or, if she doesn't, she knows I went looking. And that shows I don't completely trust her. Is she figuring out that she can't lie to me anymore? Is she disappearing like she did at St. Gregory's? Or will she turn up in a few days acting like everything's normal? Amy's brother goes to the same school as Harrison, I say. Zach nods, gives me a funny look, then says, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I want to use your brother as a spy?" Zach laughs. "He's 6. What could he possibly do?" Pass on a message. I could post it through the metal mailbox next to their gate, but Amy or her parents might read it first, and then they'd know. If Harrison could put it in Will's hand, at least he'd have a day to think. At least whatever decision he makes will be his own. "What do you want to ask him?" Zach says. "I just want him to know what I know. I've seen the carvings, I've read the words, and I know about the locks. He can talk to me." "What if it's all a massive misunderstanding? If you put something in writing, you can't hide that from Amy." "I'll take the risk." "So now you're saving her brother instead?" I stare at the sky, remembering a life that feels like a half-forgotten nightmare, and say, "I'll save whoever needs saving." 59. "Do you recognize this boy?" Zach's brother nods. "He's in 6th grade. I'm in 2nd. Harrison is the same age as Aaron, but what choice have I got? Besides, it's only passing a note. It's nothing that can get him into trouble." I hand Harrison an envelope and say, "I want to give him this. Not his teacher or his mom or dad. It has to go to him. Do you understand?" Zach's brother nods. "Okay." Inside, it says, "Hi, Will. I've seen the sick people. What do they mean? If you want to talk, you know where I live. Tom." If Amy reads it, she won't be happy. But that's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm sick of not knowing what I'm worried about. That didn't used to be a problem. I could see what I was scared of because it hid in plain sight. But this is different. "Don't lose it," Zach says, "and don't let Mom see it." This is why he's my best mate. He knows this is important to me, even if sometimes I catch him questioning everything with a look or a pause. He's not all in like I am, but he still wants to see it play out. "One last look," I say, showing him the photo of Will that I took from my window. He had stopped for a moment, glancing back at the gate that had closed behind him. Just enough time for me to zoom in and snap. "I know what he looks like," Harrison says. "I won't forget." 60. I can see Will's bedroom from my window. You can only see it from the street, so I wait until Mom and Jay have gone to bed, then go downstairs. Only this time I'm not checking that the front door is locked. I'm opening it and walking into the night. Amy's house stands out like a circus in a village of churches. Our homes are small and quiet, a couple of lights shining behind drawn curtains. Hers is massive, the spotlights above the guttering painting the bricks a shimmering white. Our street is almost silent, just the murmur of a TV through an open window and the distant yowl of a cat. Most people think darkness is dangerous. They think the night is something to hide from. But outside can be a lot safer than inside if you live with the wrong people. The closer I get to Amy's house, the bigger the walls seem. From my window, they look like something you can almost jump over, but up close, the spikes are out of reach. I step back, figuring out which room is Will's and waiting for a sign. Their living room was dark when I left the house, so he must be in his bedroom. Did Harrison give him the note, and is he planning a response? I pick a stone from the ground and think about throwing it at the window. I don't know what he wants yet, though. He may hate what I said. I may have pushed him too far in the other direction, but I had to try something. The curtain moves and I swear I see Will looking out, but it falls back into place so quickly I doubt myself. The spotlights are making my eyes blotchy and I look away and blink, then stare back at his window and see him staring down at me. I hold my hand up, drop it when he doesn't copy, and watch for any sign that he's happy to see me. He stares unblinking until I finally look away. If he's trying to creep me out, it's working. I'm the one spying on him from the dark street, but he doesn't look scared. He looks like he was expecting me. Then the window opens and I hold my breath waiting for him to speak. He leans out and I strain to hear, but there's no sound. Instead, something falls from his hands, small white patterns that appear and disappear in the darkness. When one falls at my feet, I pick it up and see that it's part of my message, torn into so many pieces that they dance through the air like a tiny snowstorm. More fall on either side of the wall, and I wonder if Amy's parents will find them and understand, or if they'll be blown away by morning. Harrison did what I asked, but Will didn't do what I'd hoped. I thought he would explain everything. Instead, he watches the final pieces fall, closes his window, and turns off the light. When I get home, it takes ages to complete my checks. I double myself over and over again, pushing the front door handle 10, 20, 30 times, and cursing myself when I go back for more. I can be outside past midnight and not be scared, but in here with locks to check and things to unplug, the fear grows fast. I push my fingers together, my right hand meeting my left at 5 separate points. It's another way to balance myself, and it's easier than when I had to touch everything with all 10 digits. Sometimes it would be a single button on the TV remote or a random spot on the wall. When it was really bad, my toes would need to touch the baseboard, while I split the sentences in my head into 3s and 5s. Those days are gone, but sometimes if I'm still downstairs this late, I'm worried they've come back. I'm scared that I'm losing myself in my search for something that might not be there. If Amy doesn't need my help and Will doesn't want it, there's nothing left to do but stop. No one saved Mom when she was trapped. She saved herself. Is that what they're doing? Or did we get our wires crossed twice?